Good afternoon, Michael. Thanks so much for joining us on this week's Business Owner Spotlight. Would you like to introduce yourself and just let everybody know about what you do?
Hi, Scott. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I am a chief executive of the Northern Ireland Takeaway Association. We are a trade body for takeaways and fast food places across Northern Ireland.
Cool. And how long have you been doing that for, Michael?
The Northern Ireland Takeaway Association has been going just coming up to 4 years now.
Yeah. And look, normally I'll be asking, who's your ideal customer, but I suppose that you sort of does what it says on the tin from that respect, is it?
Yes, we have customers ranging from independents to global chains.
Okay.
Our association, we treat every customer individually. We treat them all under the same umbrella as a trade body, because at the end of the day, we're all in the same industry together.
Yeah. And what sort of service do you provide for your customers then?
Yeah, so as a trade body, we're here to provide support, guidance, and advice to all takeaways, fast foods, coffee shops, barista bars, and delis. It could be a lonely place being a small business owner, especially in the takeaway industry. And for many years, there was no voice for that area, that sector.
Okay.
We fall into that between the cracks of hospitality and retail.
Right. Okay.
So a lot of our members felt like they had no voice and they weren't getting heard. Hence why the creation of the Northern Ireland Takeaway Association.
Okay, that's interesting. And so I'm sure then COVID had an obvious impact on your customers and I suppose your business in general then.
Yeah.
And what sort of things did you have to implement or put in place to deal with that?
Well, we kind of had adapted. We had to adapt our business, just like many other people. Yes, there was hardship in our sector because of our members. We do have coffee shops, barista bars, and deli sit-down services. There was obviously the COVID with a lot of small businesses being affected, but on the other side, we had takeaways who were still open.
Yeah,
and they were only down through curfew. What we had to adapt our association to was to lobby that, put more of our time lobbying to help the small businesses. Where previous COVID, it was more support, advice, discounts and stuff along the line to help support businesses. Where COVID, I made our association to adopt and actually focus on the lobbying, which has drove our sector forward huge amounts.
Okay. And what way does it look at the minute? Is it still that lobbying role then at the minute?
At the minute, no. Now we have a team. It started off to start me, myself, and I.
Yeah, as they all do, probably.
Like many small businesses.
Yeah.
And now we have an excellent team. We do provide multiple service for our members. Yes, we do provide a government voice at local level right through to UK government level.
Okay.
For the Northern Ireland takeaway industry. But we do have systems in place to provide support, guidance, and advice with the excellent team of experts we have.
Cool. So that's a bit about the business. What about you then? What's been your biggest learning since you've been a business owner for yourself?
Well, starting off, like every small business owner, you always have that fear.
Yeah.
You always have that thing in the back of your mind going, can you do it? Can it work?
Yeah.
But I always brought myself down to the 3 Ps: passion, people, and purpose.
Okay.
I know I had the passion for it.
Yeah.
I know previously to my role, I worked in a third-party delivery firm, a global firm. I worked there for around about 8 years, and I got to meet the people who are now members of ourselves, and I knew them on a personal level, and I knew their heartache. So I got to know the people I'd be working with, and then the purpose. I seen their pain, and I heard and I know what they're working through. So that was the purpose. So I had the 3 P. I stuck with the 3 P to get myself through the criticism. We did get a lot of like every small business, you will get criticism. Yeah. But I learned early on to take and learn from the criticism.
Yeah.
Don't take a criticism and let it knock you back 2 or 3 steps. You take it, you think about it, you learn from it, and you move on from it.
And where did the passion come from then?
Passion came from me working in the industry for probably 10 years, and getting to know the people, getting
Yeah.
to know the small business owners.
Yeah.
And hearing and getting to know their families, coming in and talking to the wives, the husbands, to know the kids, getting to know them on a personal level,
Yeah.
and hearing their heartache. And when you hear that day in, day out, it's hard not to get a passion to help people.
So those three P's are all interlinked. Then you can't have one without the other.
No, as I said, people is your business.
Yeah.
The people, the passion. If there is now with the passion, you start up a small business, you will take a hit in your passion. There always will be that stage where your passion does take a dip. It's the stage of all small business owners. But I always look at it every day as a learning day.
Yeah.
I take them days when my passion isn't there as a learning day to go, right, why, what got me to this stage,
Yeah.
and how to get myself out of it. For the next time it does happen, I have a great team around me to lean on them, to lean on my great team. Where my passion isn't there, theirs is always going to be there. They are as passionate, or probably more passionate as myself. To lean on my team for them, not the passionate days, to get me through it.
We talked a little bit about COVID there, but what other challenges have you had to overcome?
Well, I got a lot of criticism to start because the usual, you're too young, you can't be ahead of a trade body. From where I'm originally from Belfast myself. You're from Belfast, you can't be ahead of a trade body. I'm too young, I'm not experienced enough. I got every criticism you could have threw at me.
Yeah.
But I believed in myself. And I surrounded myself with people who believed in me.
Yeah.
That was a big obstacle for me to come over to start. Especially when I'm going and sitting lobbying on behalf of thousands of businesses.
Yeah.
And you're sitting at politicians, you're sitting Stormont, you're sitting at these kind of round tables, and you have to believe in yourself, because at the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, other people won't believe in you.
Yeah. No, of course. It has to start with you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you talked about surrounding yourself with people who believed in you. Who would you say has been the best coach you've ever had, and why?
Well, my dad.
Okay.
My dad, he built in a young age of me to believe in myself. Now, when I was younger, when I was 18, I put my hand to promotion events, and so I was always had that entrepreneur side of me, and my dad always pushed me forward in that. If I believe myself, to go 2 feet in and push on and do it. Which with that belief actually got me to this stage. He also taught me to also slow down.
Okay, it's interesting.
To also slow down, where I have that, like a lot of small business owners, that you have a habit of running on when you have an idea.
Yeah.
When you have an idea, I had the habit to go, right, I've got the idea, let's go with this, without the studying, without the things, without doing any more studying on that idea, where my dad taught me to take a step back and breathe.
Okay.
Study, ask people what they think, do a bit of studying, and then restructure the idea. And the idea, probably what I had at the start, is totally different, but the same outcome.
Yes. Just a more considered approach then.
Yes. So that was a big thing to me, to slow down, take a step back and breathe. And actually to follow on. Sometimes taking a step back is more beneficial for your business.
Yeah. And tell me, have you picked up any favorite quotes or sayings you've learned along the way?
I like that. I built so I built a culture, not a company.
Okay.
Yeah. I use that regularly, especially in what we've done with the association. This was never done before.
Okay.
I didn't want it to be a company. I didn't want it to look like another just. At the minute, for years, the takeaway industry has seen companies come and go, and they've all wanted 2p's worth of the takeaway owners. I want this to be a culture.
Yes.
The takeaway industry is diverse and multicultural. And I wanted to include all takeaway owners from all backgrounds to make this our association a culture and not just a business.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. So, and it goes back to your 3Ps: the people as a culture, and again, all interlinked there. And what would you say? I mean, you talked about your passion and everything. What would you say you've learned about yourself on your journey?
I'm resilient.
Yeah.
I knew that I had the passion, but being passionate and being resilient is two different things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could have the passion but not be resilient and let your passion fail. Being resilient with myself, I didn't know I was this resilient over the last few years, especially with struggles that cost of business crisis, especially with our sectors going through now at the minute. Going out every day and listening to heartache stories from our members, closing down. We've lost over 100 takeaways in the last 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That going and listening to these takeaway owners, listening that they can't provide food for their families, it does take a toll on you. But you have to have a great team around you and be resilient. One other thing that I did and that I make sure I do now is make sure any small business owner looks after themselves, because mental health is a huge thing now at the minute.
Yeah.
It's easy for a small business owner to be too involved and give everything, every minute, every week and day into the business. Where sometimes it's back to what my dad taught me: you take a step back, you look after yourself, you look after your health.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, if you're not healthy, your business isn't going to be healthy.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And well said. What would you say then? It's probably a fairly obvious question, but what would you say are the main challenges moving ahead for your business and for your members?
Well, with us, as I say, working through a tidal wave of increases at the minute. This is probably the hardest time the takeaway industry has ever experienced. With the cost of electricity, food costs, labor costs, everything seemed to be increasing. For the association, for me and my team, it's really difficult for us because we are lobbying to make sure that current small businesses stay open, but also provide support for the ones who just recently closed. This wasn't part of our action plan at the start, but now it has actually come into it, where we provide a service for people who's recently closed to try to help and support them. Yeah,
and it's sad that that's had to be integrated into your service, but fantastic that you're now able to offer it.
Yeah, it's as you said, it is sad that it has came to this. But with the way the industry's going, it's only going to get worse. Yeah, I can't see a magic wand coming from the government anytime soon. So at the minute, our sector looks bleak. It's in a crisis, but the power does come in numbers. And I believe with the association coming together, with all takeaway owners coming together on the association, the power of one voice can get us all through this.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Just to finish up then, if you were to go back in time, what piece of advice would you give yourself as an 18-year-old you? What piece of advice would you give yourself?
Surround yourself with the right people.
Okay.
I was happy. I was always wanting to be a business owner. I was always wanting to push myself better, but I didn't follow through with what I believe I could do.
Yeah.
Now that's all in business. I have great friends and great family around me. That's in business. Where it's a fear factor. Where if I just stay with a close knit group in business, I'll be okay. I'll be fine. I'll just get through life. Where when I opened my vision and I started networking with other people, other business owners, and other people with passion and who have a bigger perspective, that's where my fear went away, and this is where I actually started my company. But yeah, so I would say surround yourself with the right people in business, because there's a lot of people out there who are happy where they are and don't want to progress.
Yes.
Doesn't that necessarily mean you have to stay where you are.
There we are. Yeah. And if you were to start your business again, is there anything you would do differently?
Yes. If I was to start the association again, is that yeah?
Yeah.
If I start the association again tomorrow, I right away I wish I had my team now at the start.
Yeah.
I wish I had I went too long doing it by myself.
Yeah.
Which hindered the association for a while, because the support it needed, it wasn't getting by myself. Right. Now that was for the first 8 months, 9 months. Yes. And then the team came in. So I would get the team together early doors, especially in association. I would get a good team around me together at the start, because just for your own mental health, it's better to have good people in your team.
Yeah, get the right people in the right place early on. Then.
Yes, again, it comes back to the 3 Ps: the passion, people, and purpose. The people doesn't necessarily have to be members. The people can be your team.
Yeah. Listen, Michael, that was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed finding out about the work you're doing, and I think it's brilliant service you're offering at a really difficult time. So, look, thanks so much for taking the time to get involved.
Yep, thanks very much, Scott.